Hey, it's me, Sophie B, and I have made a vow to you, my TikTok bestie, that I'm going to save you money when it comes to beauty products because I know too much to stay hush-hush, and I am going to be starting a new series to help everybody out and answer all of your questions when it comes to is this worth it or is this not, for all beauty products, drugstore, Ulta, Sephora alike. And I'm going to call it the Beauty Breakdown. My first episode of the Beauty Breakdown, I really want to talk about something that is very important, and it's going to be helpful in determining what products are, I guess, legit in the claims that they're making and what products are lying to you, because they are. Unknown to most consumers, unless you've taken a marketing class, in which you probably already know this, but you can probably just skip this video then. But for those of us who haven't taken Marketing 101, this is going to come as quite a shock. But there are actually laws in advertising, particularly when it comes to products that are ingestible, consumable, things like that, and cosmetics. However, just because there are laws kind of trying to put guardrails on these things does not mean that there are not loopholes that are commonly used to try to trick consumers into thinking that a product is going to provide certain results when it just won't. A great example of this, and something that I would recommend everybody try to familiarize themselves with when it comes to shopping in beauty, right, is the difference between non-therapeutic, or I guess what they call cosmetic claims on a product, and actual like therapeutic, or what they call drug claims. It's very important to know the difference because these are actually controlled by laws. The difference between a drug claim and a cosmetic claim is basically going to all come down to efficacy, or how well does that product work? Can you actually make that claim based on clinical study and whatnot? Cosmetic claims are basically going to be claims that are about changes in appearance, but they cannot actually have any direct language stating that they are going to change appearance. So what that might sound like is like reduces the appearance of hyperpigmentation, right? Or skin looks smoother, or contains retinol. Right? Those are all cosmetic claims. And a lot of those sound very familiar to us because we've probably seen products and really were intrigued by products that had these claims on them. But that does not mean, right, that that product is actually going to reduce appearances of hyperpigmentation, or actually going to smooth the skin, or really does contain retinol. I know this is all very confusing, but I will elaborate. Now, to contrast that, what a drug claim sounds like, and these claims, it's very important that you know this, can only be made if they actually are approved by, I believe, the FDA, right? So in order for them to put this on there, they have to actually go through quite a bit of expensive clinical trial and study to be able to actually make these claims. And they also have to kind of be sold as like an over-the-counter drug, or yeah, just like an off-the-shelf drug. But these are all going to, you're going to notice the slight difference, going to be direct claims of efficacy. So effectiveness, things like that. So fades pigmentation. That's an actual direct claim. It fades pigmentation. That's what it does. Reduces cellulite, right? Reduces wrinkles. Those are all drug claims, right? Because they're not saying skin looks smoother. They're saying reduces wrinkles. So that is kind of the very nuanced difference between cosmetic claims and drug claims. However, right, because of course there's a however in there, right? Delightful. A lot of times companies will bank on the fact that consumers don't know this, and they will actually use illegal drug claims on their products quite often. It's actually astounding once you know the difference between these two to see just how many companies are putting these claims on their products without actually going through the rigmarole that you have to be able to make these products. Another kind of claim that brands like to use in order to sell you on a product or make you think that a product is going to work better for you is going to be ingredient claims and product claims. And I'm going to explain the difference of those as well. An ingredient claim is going to be ingredient focused. What we see this, most commonly what I see with this is going to be like contains niacinamide, which will brighten the appearance of skin, just overall brighten of skin, right? That's an ingredient claim. Product claim is going to be like product will overall brighten the skin. So you can kind of see now that we're breaking it down, the different kind of claims. But both of those don't necessarily mean that it is actually going to brighten the skin. Now, another thing that I'm going to kind of wrap up this video with is that there are a lot of other claims out there that you're going to see, particularly when it comes to clinically trialed, clinically studied, clinically proven, right? Clinically proven is actually not a regulated term, so anybody can kind of use the term clinically proven. So if you see something that says clinically proven, don't take it for what it sounds like. It sounds so cool and it sounds so scientific, but it really doesn't mean much. At the end of the day, if you're trying to find a product that has been clinically tested and the claims that it makes are actual backed drug-based claims, right? So that's kind of like the ideal thing we're looking for. You want to look for something that is very, very hyper-specific. So a good example that I've written down here is that you want claims that are going to kind of be elaborate. So reduces skin dryness by 55%, tested on individuals between the age of 40 to 50 for a period of 3+ weeks, right? That is a great sounding clinical trial. And another thing too with clinical testing is that when it comes to different skin tones, types, textures, there's going to be a lot of a lack of clinical studying in that. Guess what skin type tends to be the most clinically tested? Take a wild guess. Right. So that's also going to come into play when you're shopping for different things. The most ideal thing that you can do is try to find an idea or a claim or a product that has tested objective measures and products on people that look like you. That's the most ideal thing. So when you're shopping for these things, when you're looking at, okay, does this actually mean that this is legit? Just something to keep in mind.